Here we go. That's enough. Hey, good morning. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo, with yet another episode of Redstone, Lapis, Lazuli. It is I, your host. Yeah, I said that. Pogo Kiddo. Da, 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 da. All right. Try not to be too loud, but I think my neighbors already left. I think they got my schedule down here, and like leave the house right as I start my show. Hey, that's funny. That's pretty good. Lucky me. Back to game. So here, check this out. I am at the top of a mountain. Yes. This is the mountain range right next to my house. This is like what it looks like from the top. Dude, what are you doing? What's going on? All right. Anyways, yeah, this is the view from the top of the mountain. Yeah, down there. I went along and I put torches on the peaks of every mountain. And I'm thinking now I should come back through and replace those torches with campfires. Yeah, that would be cool. But here, let me get down. Let me get back down. Let me show you the grove I found. The secret grove, because we're really, really high up. Super high up in the world. Super high in the world. I'm super high in the world. All right, let's see. Down. So yeah, good morning, happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. We've had some like beautiful weather here. It was really warm the other day, and everyone went out to the Salem Saturday Market. It was packed. People were digging it. It was nice. It was really cool. I had a nice grilled chicken salad there. Oh, so good. The sun was shining. The weather was sweet. Made you want to move your dancing feet. What are you doing out here in the sunshine, dude, without burning? How is this even possible? Yeah, there you go. Go on, behave the way nature intended. You're not supposed to be here, dude. Anytime now. Anytime. Go ahead. Feel that sunshine on you, right? Isn't that good? Sunshine is the best disinfectant. Why? Because it's literally radiation. So here I am in my at the center of the grove. Now we're up pretty high, and we're like surrounded by these mountains. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like how everything mountains. And I built this train line, but man, this looks so ugly. And I might just undo it. I think I'm gonna undo it because it's so ugly. Look at this nonsense. Like it's just all sticking out. Yeah, it's just too ugly. Like, if it weren't so ugly, I might keep it. But, like, this is a beautiful little area, and I don't have a whole lot of space to build stuff. And I don't want to take up a huge chunk with ugly rail lines. So I'll probably get rid of this. But, yeah. It works like this. Voila. So it's basically like one step less for the rider. Instead of like taking the rail line and then getting out and going up an elevator to the place, now the rail line takes you up the elevator to the place. But it leaves an ugly mess. I don't want to keep doing that. So let us I'm going to work on that some further working. But yeah. Bit by bit, I fill in my train station. No. So here it is. This is with the Say shaders. I like it. The Say shaders for outside. It just looks looks really good, except for like the rain. It has like the rain doesn't show up. And for inside, I like the Rethinking Voxels shader. Which will look cool inside. But they too have no rain right now. There's no rain. But again, this is in beta. So it's yeah. What else was I doing? So yeah, I mean that's pretty much the work I've done. I revisited one of my old worlds just to check it out, and it was pretty neat. Here, let me go over here and show you first. The old world, it's a Java world, and it's the world I was playing. And right before I got a new video card, I got my new video card, my RTX 3070, and said, "Hey, I want to like use RTX now." So I did, and I abandoned that world because when I built it, I didn't build it with the limitations of Java in mind. So I built my entire base on one island, one tiny island, which causes a lot of lag, as you can imagine. So here, let me leave this place. The construct. Check this place out. This is pretty neat. So this was my world, everything built on a tiny island. Everything built on one little island in the ocean. Well, not everything, right? I have that line up there to the gold farm. The I and the me. Yeah. But yeah, so there's the center tower, which has a bunch of stuff. That's all the farmland. That's more farmland. That's more farmland. Farmland. That's that big spot here is the train station. That's the breeding pod, and that's the mob farm, and that's the tree farm, and that's the iron farm. So you can tell this is an old world because, well, everything's flat. Look how much flatter the world is compared to the new worlds. Like, nothing goes above a certain level. Because it's an old world that I had already checked out and generated the chunks. Ow. All right, well, I got here. And then another way you can tell it's an old world is by going in the mine. To the mines. This is the bottom of the mines, the world, which is only like Y level like 8. So, yeah, this world is where I first came up with my idea of the shape of society. And how, under fascism, the shape of society is like a pyramid, in which the guy at the top is the power, and he is above the law. Like, he's above the law. And the law is only used to suppress people below him. And they send all the power and all the money up to the guy at the top to concentrate it. That's fascism, white supremacy. As opposed to democracy, human rights, rule of law, in which all of society is like is equal before the law. Over here, the power is above the law, but over here, everyone is equal before the law. So the shape of society is different depending on if you're ruled by power or if you're ruled by justice. And then I made this to show, well, here on this side. Where'd it go? Oh, I guess this is it. You can't even read it. I need to get glow squid ink. But yeah. Okay, USA distribution of wealth in 2016. That's right. I was doing like the bottom 20% have nothing, the next bit have a little bit, the middle class has a bit, the top fourth has that much, and then the top 1% has that huge amount, or top 20%. And how this is liberalism, classic liberalism, and this would be communism. So, and then I made this machine. you put in 64 cobblestone and you get 1 emerald block. This represents labor, having to sell your labor to survive. In the capitalist world, there's nothing around you. You don't own anything, and the natural world is taken away from you. So you're removed from nature. You've been excommunicated from nature by the capitalist system. So you can't live on your own. And if you live, and since the whole world is now capitalist, you can't like go in and like just take stuff because it's all been taken already. So the only thing you have, and you have nothing, right? You have nothing except your body. So your body is capable of providing labor. So you have no choice in this world. You have no choice but to sell your labor to get back money, and then you use that money to get the stuff that you need, like food and shelter and everything else, because the natural world has been taken away from you. Not that it's been taken away from you, but it's been taken away, and it's really hard to live on your own in nature. I mean, like that's why we're at the point we're in right now, is because other people organized, and yeah, and they're more efficient at using their power. Anyways. And if you're born with a wooden pickaxe, your labor is going to be like terrible. You're going to work your ass off and hardly get anything in return. And then you come over here, and then this machine represents like the way that wealth tends to concentrate. You trade money to reproduce yourself to work again the next day. So you just put your money in, and then what you get out is a potato. So the money, you put your money in at the bottom, and it all goes up to the top where it disappears into the whatever the powerful people do with the money. So my whole idea was to use liberty and justice. You can't even see anything, man. Liberty and justice. You raise up liberty and justice by truth, right? You have to really do it. You can't just pretend it. You have to really do it. In order to, if you can raise up liberty and justice before truth, you can create a dynamic to change this structure. So naturally, money tends to flow upward naturally, under our system. So given that it's going to naturally flow upwards, you use a system of taxing wealth. Any wealth above $1 billion, you tax it 100%. And you also tax financial transactions. And you make a progressive marginal tax. What that does is it stops wealth from flowing up and flowing out of the economy. It intercepts it. The government stops it from flowing out into the private hoard. Instead of flowing to the private hoard, it gets redirected. Where does it get redirected to? It gets redirected to over here. Oh, you can't see it. to social programs like Medicare for all and free education and infrastructure, human infrastructure, as well as material infrastructure, right? You're going to need caregivers no matter what, right? You're going to need caregivers, and those caregivers are going to need to get a way to get from their house to the house of their clients. Like, why do you put this all on the caregiver to do it? Like, it's totally inefficient. Totally inefficient. If we would seize the means of control, of production, we can create a system that's far more efficient than the way that we're doing it right now. It's not very efficient to make caregiving a really low-paid profession and then saddle them with all the requirements it takes to be a caregiver. Transportation, healthcare, accreditation, education, all that other stuff. I mean, we should literally have have like trade programs to be a caregiver. Like it's a trade. It's a trade, just like everything else. So if you intercept the money that would flow out of the economy, it's going to flow out of the economy anyways and be useless and only be there for Elon Musk to use to buy shit that he can dismantle later, like Twitter. So if you intercept that and you put it in and you build with that money, you build these other things, other programs instead, then that money is redirected and it's pushed back down. It doesn't flow up and out of the economy. You intercept it and you shove it back down into the bottom, because the people who work at caregiving are not billionaires. The people who build rail lines are not billionaires. They're workers building the rail line. The people who operate rail lines are not billionaires. Like, you're helping out regular people. You're shoving that money out of the billionaire pockets and back into the pockets of regular people. That's the idea. Don't let billionaires concentrate the wealth and keep it out of reach of our country. Intercept that shit, grab it, build social programs with it that shove money back down to the bottom. The whole point is to shove the money to the bottom. So think of it like organic farming. You feed the soil, not the plant. So the idea in organic farming, the idea is that you're not going to feed the plant directly. You're feeding the soil in which the plant has its roots, because in a good soil, the soil is literally alive with a culture of bacteria and fungus and other microorganisms, and they all work together to transform nutrients into other nutrients and minerals and stuff. And so there's a symbiotic relationship between the roots of a plant and the organic soil. Symbiotic relationship. And that relationship is fantastic for the plant. It gets far more nutrients and is far healthier when it has good soil than when you just feed it straight up nutrients, like without caring about the soil. The plants are not as good, not as tasty, not as healthy, not as resistant. So the whole idea with organic farming is that you don't give your energy to the plant, you give your energy to the soil. This is the social equivalent, right? You don't feed the companies, you don't give the companies, because all the companies do is hoard the money. They don't actually use that money to invest it and make workers better off. Companies hoard that money and use it to buy back their own stock. Look at Bed Bath & Beyond, dude. Last year, they spent $1 billion in stock buybacks. And this year, they're filing for bankruptcy, and they're giving their workers nothing. But their executives made bank, because when you do a stock buyback, everyone holding that stock, their stock goes up. Well, who do you think owns most stock in this country? The rich, the wealthy. So don't give the money to a company, because they're just gonna hoard that money. Instead, you intercept that extra wealth, not all of it, but a big chunk of it. You intercept it and you build social programs that shove the money back down to the bottom. That way you feed the people who make the economy and not the companies. Feed the people, not the company. Feed the soil, not the plant. So how do you feed the people? How do you feed the soil of our society? How do you feed the people of our society? Well, one way is through a universal basic income. Universal basic income is a fantastic idea. All you do is you just give cash to people. Just give people cash. Give the poorest people cash. Give them cash. Just give them cash. And then, of course, you're going to hear a lot of conservatives have concern trolling, wringing their hands saying, oh, but those poor people don't know how to spend their money. That's why they're poor. Bullshit. They're poor because they're in a system that creates poverty. Look at the system. This system creates poverty. Like unchecked, right? If it's not checked, this system creates poverty. Every time it's going to create poverty. You shove your money in and your money all goes up and you're still stuck back here. You go back to work, right? You have your wooden pickaxe. You spend all day, all your life digging rocks to transform it into like measly emeralds that you put into the system, and you get one potato out to barely live to go do it again the next day. This system like now is broken. All it does is it makes the rich richer and the poor stay poor. That's why you have to lift up liberty and justice. You have to lift up liberty and justice. The way you and you can't just pay lip service. It has to be true, the truth. This is before the truth. You have to really, really, really do it. If you really, really do it, then you can transform society. So you give people money. You trust the people. And you just give the poorest people money so they can escape the traps, the many, many traps of poverty. There are many traps of poverty. The way that you give people money, just give people money, there's two ways you can do it. One way is through Social Security. It's already set up that way. It's already set up. It's already set up. That's a great way of doing it, Social Security. But there's another problem that Social Security has, and that is the U.S. Postal Service. Social Security has to rely on old school methods of communication to communicate with the people. Like nowadays, corporations are all using cell phones and texts and emails. But Social Security can't do that because not everyone has access to cell phones or texts or emails, and those can be easily scammed. Especially when you're dealing with a vulnerable population. They can be easily scammed. So Social Security relies heavily on the U.S. Postal Service. Well, as you know, the U.S. Postal Service got sabotaged by Donald Trump with the installation of Louis DeJoy. So that kind of sucks. However, if we can take back control of the Postal Service, the U.S. Postal Service is amazing. It's fantastic, and it's a way of revitalizing our rural communities. Yes, I've seen it myself. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've lived it. I've lived this experience. You can't tell me otherwise because that would be gaslighting. I've lived it, and we can even do it right now. Let's go together. Let's go together to the place that convinced me, and that is Japan. Japan. I lived in Japan for 3 years, from 2004 to 2007. And when I lived in Japan, I lived in the suburbs, and there are even more rural places than the suburbs in Japan. But in all these places, even if they're in a rural area, they all have post offices. They all have post offices. These are all state jobs. All the post offices are state jobs. Even in the most rural area of Japan, they have a post office. They have post offices all over the place. It's kind of weird. They're all over the place. And at every single post office, it acts as a bank. Every post office in Japan is also a bank. It has like you can do very, very basic banking stuff at the post office. Every person in Japan has this. So there's private banks. I'm not saying you have to use the bank of the post office bank, because there's private, of course, for sure, there's private banks where you can do investment, you can make loans, you can do all those crazy stuff. You can do all the banking stuff at the private banks. The post office bank isn't like a full-fledged bank. It's more like just like a checking account kind of bank. Like you can get like money orders and checking account, and that's about it. And it's like an ATM. So and the government, you can deposit money directly into that account, and then you can withdraw it from any post office anywhere in Japan. Is that amazing? Imagine if we did that here in the United States. if we made every single post office, we gave every single American their own like post office bank account, where the government can deposit money directly into that post office bank account, and you can get them at any post office anywhere. That would give us the reason to make more post offices and to make post offices in rural areas. And if you have a post office in a rural area, you're going to want telecommunications to that location, fiber optics, right? So that's going to help build out infrastructure to rural areas, to get them fiber optics, to get them internet. That's what they need. The rural areas need internet to get a flow of information going that will break the hold of Fox News. So you give them universal basic income, and you give it to them through the U.S. Postal Service bank account. You kill two birds with one stone. Not only do you give money to poor people to make them not poor, but you also help the rural communities, and you help the the postal service, and you help people because everyone now has access to banking services, whereas before they did not, and they had to resort to like shady businesses to get stuff done. So all that does is it shoves money back into the lowest people. So eventually you're going to transform this pyramid of power into something a little more equitable, where everyone is treated a little more equally. Everyone has a little bit more to get by on. And that's better. That's what we want. We don't need billionaires buying perfectly fine social media companies so they can destroy them for their own ego. I mean, literally, that's what Elon Musk did. Elon Musk spent $44 billion to destroy Twitter. Because Twitter was an effective information distribution system, and he didn't like it. And his buddies didn't like it. His authoritarian buddies didn't like it. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Don't forget it. He's a Nazi. So yeah, I built this system, but notice how it doesn't go any lower. Like this, because there literally was no going lower. Like there was no lower to go to when I built this world. What does that say? Putin, Mohammed bin Salman, Trump. Yeah, dude, they're all on the same team. I can't read any of these signs. All right. So yes. Now, what's the Nether like? I don't even know how to go anywhere. All these elevators. What's going on? What's happening? Oh. Hey, it's all right. It's a nice Nether. Look at this. This is a nice place. Oh, I've got things. It's already got set up here. I got everything I need. Oh wow. Ha ha ha. Nice. I have tons of everything. Spectral arrows for days. Magma cream. No magma cream. Huh. Yep, there's the step outside. Oh yeah, that's my farm for prismarine shards to make these lights. It works really good. And I can make blocks too, prismarine blocks. Nice. Yeah, it works really good. Yeah, this is like a great world. Great world. That's a lot of time and effort to build this. Like, shit, dude, look at this. It's huge. End portal, blaze farm, gold farm. See, like, there's no witch farm. Like, why don't I have a witch farm, dude? Come on, those are like awesome. I think witch farms are different in Java than they are in Bedrock. All right. I need another row above it. Whoa, where does this even go? Oh, it goes this way. Oh, okay. That's a perfect spot to build a farm. Oh yeah, these are great spots for farms. Alright, safe and sound. Neat. Neat. This is a lot of work, man. Why would I leave this? Look at all this work. This took forever to make. How to... Yeah, this is ridiculous to leave this. Oh, look at this one doesn't have the cart return system on it either. I need to fix this one too. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. It does not have a cart return system. Like if an empty cart comes by. Oh, it's on this side. That's why. Ah. No, it doesn't. No empty cart return system. Bad, Robert. Bad Pogo Kiddo. Oh, there's no room for it though. Look it. I literally have no room. I mean, maybe right here. Maybe. I mean, no, it might reset this whole thing though. Let me see. Let me see. I'll put a block there and then a couple hooks. Hooks. I have no iron with me. I do have iron. I have wood. I make hooks. Yar, hooks. A couple hooks. There it is. I have no string. That's the problem. How would I do this? That one's... Yeah, let me see. So that would click it. It would okay, so that would click it. There'd be a light here. It would turn this one. I know where prismarine. Do I have string? Oh, there's string. Okay. Any blocks? Sure, let's use the warped one. That one. Alright, that doesn't power anything. That's good. Redstone, redstone. You have no redstone in here? I have redstone. I have redstone. Bop. Bop, bop. Alright, so this must change. This has to be... Who must learn? This is a regular block. You have to get powered somewhere else. Get powered somewhere else, man. I don't know where. Probably right there. What am I looking at here? So you gotta move. You gotta get placed like that. I need regular rail. Just in here. Okay, see? So, yeah, if you're an empty cart, you're gonna go underneath this. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Let's see, how can I flip it the other way around? Because it's going the wrong way. I have to invert the signal. Going the wrong way. Let's see. No, that's the wrong way, man. It has to go the opposite way. Yeah, there you go. But it looks ugly. But who cares? It works. So I'm gonna have it come. I don't have any room, so it's gonna literally fall onto tracks. Go this way. Go under here. Under that somehow. And back into there. Do I want to do that right now? Or do I want to finish my show? No, I have a lot to talk about in my show. So maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Let me think. Let's see. Yeah, go one more. But actually, I should change this color. To warped. Now I can't get up. I get up? You have no scaffolding. Okay, there you go. So... No! Okay. No. And what I need to do is... Oh yeah, there we go, okay. I'm gonna fall straight down. Bop, and go straight down. Let me think. Straight down, right here, onto a powered block. Straight down. Onto a powered block. Probably need more than that. Let me go. That's 9. There's no way. It's not gonna make it. I need more powered rail. Have some torches. Okay, hopefully that's enough to make it, to have it go all the way. All the way! Let's see what happens. Oh no, I forgot the powered part. Alright, here. What have I done? I replaced the... I got rid of the stuff I needed, like right... Alright. This should do it, right? Right. I can't see which way it goes. Did you make it? No, it goes the wrong way. Okay, so I can fix it. It's within my power. Now we have a new dilemma. A new problem. If I power this one, then this hopper gets locked. What if I power it from the side if it gets locked as well? Like, if I power it like that, will it also lock it? Lever. I can't make a lever? Are you serious? Ah, that's right. I think they should change Minecraft to be able to use blackstone for redstone contraptions. It just doesn't seem right that you cannot use blackstone to. You can use it for everything else, like to make tools. Why not? All right. So is that hopper locked? I don't know. What should I put in there? Nope, it's not locked. Okay, great. Get that out. Get out of there. All right. So my cart, I've implemented a cart return system. An automatic cart return system. So that it doesn't get messed up. Yay! That was pretty not bad. That was not bad. Oh, here. Oh, yeah, I need that there. I'm like, oh, that's ugly. But it must be there to stop the cart from flying the wrong way. Alright, nice. Look at the nice changes I made to my world already. A nice little sanctuary from all the madness out there. All that gravel being dropped on the cactus to be deleted. And this dude here is like, I like it here. He's like, this is my home now. Okay, dude, that's cool. Well, his workstation's there. I guess that's what's up for him. He's like, I am where my workstation is. Okay, we are good to go. Yeah, look at all the work I put into building this place. It seems like it's kind of bad to abandon it. I mean, I've come back and now all these mods that make it run a lot better. It's still kind of laggy, but not as bad. Plus, just build another base somewhere else, man. It's easy. Look at here. Go over here and build a base on this deserty place. Right? There, build a base right there. Brand new place. And I still have all my equipment and stuff. That's a train line. The Sky Train. Laggy, dude. Nothing I can do about it. It's just the way it is. So yeah, if you think about it, think about outer space. We have these galaxies, not even galaxies, the solar system. And like outside of our solar system, the nearest thing to us, the nearest like other star is like light years away. Millions and millions and millions of miles of nothingness that you have to cross in order to get to the next thing, the next star. Like, there's no way where any matter is going to traverse that distance. Any individual matter, like humans or whatever. I mean, I'm okay in the moment, right? There's no way in the moment. So it's like everything on our planet is like, or in our solar system is like that's it. It's amazing that we found each other, because if this system didn't hold itself together, it would be lost in the darkness of nothingness. It's only by their association with one another that it's possible. I don't know that it's here. So down there is where all the guardians spawn, and they fall into the the nether portal in the middle, and then they go to the nether, and then they get cooked by campfires into shards. And I do nothing, I just sit here. Yeah, and I don't know why I made a sky train, but it's nice. I like it made out of glass. It makes the maps look better. Ooh, and now it's nighttime. Dude, I've been going for like an hour talking about Minecraft stuff. Let's talk about real stuff. Or other stuff. I built all of this on a tiny ass island. A tiny little island of nothing. Well, all right then. Let's talk about stuff going on. Man, I don't know where to even begin. I saved up images all week of stuff, and I'm like, there's so much of it that I'm like, man, where do I even start? Where do I even start? Okay, first of all, let me start with like my experience I had. On Friday night, I decided to go out into the just to go out to see what was going on. And I ran into a guy playing chess. And, everything about our interaction was civil and polite and not disrespectful to one another. But I wish people came with a 30-second trailer so I can see what I'm getting into. I mean, this guy, like, basically I'm walking down, like, I think it was Liberty Street, downtown Salem, just walking down. I saw like a new taco place, so I went in just to have a burrito just at the new taco place. And I don't know, I don't know about that so much. That place so much. I mean, it was all right, but they didn't have Spanish rice, so they made a burrito for me with white rice. And I was like, man, I wanted Spanish rice, more flavor, but that's all right. Okay, it was near closing time, so I'm not, what am I gonna do? It was like, like. That's fine. It was a good burrito. It was solid. It was a solid burrito. It was like, bam, solid burrito. It was good. And I walked down the street to like another bar, and I saw a guy playing chess, and he has a sign saying "Play me." I'm like, all right, yes. I haven't played chess in many years, so it was interesting. But yeah, had I known this, the guy like we played chess, and it was nice, but as the night went on, I kept picking up hints that this guy was like a little bit different than me. And then it came out that he was totally different than me. The guy is a Trump supporter. He voted for Trump twice, and he said he did so through thought and reason. And like, yeah, we were polite and everything. Everything was nice and all, but like, if you used reason and you came to the conclusion that Donald Trump is your best guy through the use of reason, then I would have to think, well, what kind of world, what must the world be like for you in order for you to come to that conclusion? Because you used reason. So since you used reason, I can use reason too. We both use, that's the nice thing about reason, it's like a common language. Like Like anyone can use reason. You don't have to belong to the reason church. You don't have to have like believe in the reason gods. No, it's reason. Anyone can use it. That's why it's so great. So this guy used reason to come to the conclusion that based on his stuff, Donald Trump would be the best representative. And he told me that he didn't care about anything. He said he was middle of the he's not Democrat or Republican or anything. He said he was conservative, whatever that meant. But he said the only thing he cared about was China, which was weird. I'm like, well, he lived in China for many years and he spoke great Chinese, as far as I can tell. I'm not an expert at Chinese, so I don't know what great Chinese sounds like, but it sounded authentic to me. It sounded really good to me. Yeah, and he made the distinction between the Chinese people, of which there are many, and they're very, very diverse. And many different cultures within China, just like in the United States. So he made a distinction between the Chinese people and the Chinese government, the Communist Party, the totalitarian government. He was really upset that the West didn't do very much when China basically took over Hong Kong and disappeared dissidents. Like Hong Kong fought hard for its independence and just got swallowed up by China. And it's like, I don't want that to happen to Taiwan. And I'm like, all right, dude, you live there, you kind of know what's up. I mean, and like I visited there, I kind of saw stuff, but yeah. However, it wasn't just that, right? It's like his goals were incompatible with one another. Because the other thing he said to me, am I a jerk for saying this? I don't know. I don't think I'm not being malicious about it. I don't know. He gave me his name. I don't think it was his real name. But his goals are incompatible. Because that was, he told me his number one main goal. He told me his number one main goal was the defense of Taiwan from China. He wants to make sure China doesn't go through and like take over all of Asia. That's what he told me. He also told me that he wants to see American society collapse. And he pointed out every guy who wore a Hawaiian t-shirt, every white guy wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt, he pointed it out. So, that tells me he's a boogaloo. He's a boogalooser. He's a boogalooser. He's a guy that wants to see the society collapse. How is the United States supposed to stop China from taking over Taiwan if American society collapses? You have two opposite goals here, which is a reflection of the disorganized thinking of white supremacists. How can you want to defend other countries at the same time as wanting your own country to collapse? So, is this guy using reason effectively? So I asked him, I told him, hey, do you know about this bit of history? That Ronald Reagan literally sabotaged the Carter administration in order to take power in the United States. He did so because, and I had to explain to him, how how the Shah was overthrown in the 1979 revolution, Iranian Revolution, and that they took hostages in the American embassy, and that Carter was working to get those hostages released, and they were going to be released. However, Ronald Reagan's campaign team, created a back channel to the Iranian hostage holders, the Ayatollah, whatever, and said, hey guys, don't make a deal with the Carter administration, hold the hostages and make a deal with the white supremacist administration, and the white supremacist administration will give you a better deal. And the Iranians went with the back channel, and Carter was defeated by his own people. He was betrayed by his own people. And the guy heard this story and said, hey, that's pretty smart of Reagan. It's pretty smart of Reagan to betray the United States for his own benefit. You know, there's another person who betrayed the United States for his own benefit by creating a back channel to a foreign government. Donald Trump! And this guy voted for Donald Trump twice. So, putting all of this together, like, does he really want to stop Taiwan? Does he really want to defend Taiwan from the Chinese because he loves the Taiwanese people, or is he just racist? He didn't really he didn't really care at all about Ukraine. He didn't care at all about Ukraine. He didn't want to even talk about it. All of this I'm putting together and saying, yeah, this guy's a white supremacist. This guy's a white supremacist. He's a fascist. He wants the government to collapse. He voted for Donald Trump twice. And the only reason why he wants to stop China is not because of the government, but because I think he hates Chinese people. He says he doesn't, but I think he does. So, like, had I known all this, and the guy was trying to be my friend. He bought me a drink. He tried to buy me another drink. He tried to invite me out to karaoke. He tried to invite me to karaoke, and I'm like, no. By this point, I'm like, no. I figured out, like, kind of like where we stand here. I think I'm just gonna go. He's literally my enemy, and I wasn't gonna convince him otherwise. There's no way. There's no way we're gonna, like, I tried, right? I tried to bring up the fact that America has original sin of slavery and genocide. He did not want to hear it. He did not want to hear it. I told him Donald Trump was a traitor. He did not want to hear it. He was getting mad. He was like, hey, it's my turn to talk. Yeah. He didn't disrespect me, but I could tell he was touchy spot. Yeah. No, dude. We're like, we can't be friends. We cannot be friends. That's funny. So, yeah. So this guy who I played chess with the other night was literally telling me he wanted my country to collapse, that he voted for Donald Trump twice with reason, which tells me he's a white supremacist, and he's a boogalooser. You know who else who wants the United States to collapse? This guy. Teixeira, or is that Teixeira or Teixeira? Teixeira. This dude was a National Guardsman, and he stole documents from the U.S. government to upload to a Discord server. Discord is like a program where everyone can come on, where you can make a place where everyone can come on to your place and then talk to each other, either through chatting or through voice, and you can share files. So you basically make little places on, Discord is like the bubble, and inside the Discord bubble you can make tiny bubbles of your own stuff going on. But it's still within the Discord bubble. So inside the Discord bubble, this guy has his own server, and on the server, he disseminated stolen U.S. secrets to his buddies. Well, his buddies were, some of his buddies were Russian spies. So Russian spies took this stolen U.S. documents and used it for their own benefit. And so this is them chatting in the thing. The user says, "Isn't that shit classified?" Texzera says, "Everything that I've been telling you guys up to this point has been. Lol. This isn't different." And he says, "Well, you really trust everyone here then?" And Texzera says, "I have plausible deniability, and none of them know anything incriminating about me. None has found a point of contact to my work. None knows where I work, and no one knows how to identify me. I have already thought of that." But he didn't, because there are spies in his network, and he got caught, dumbass. But you see how this guy is working against the United States and doesn't think anything of it? I think your thingies got passed along saying pro-Russian telegram with them. And Texzeris asks, "Which ones?" He's like, "I screenshotted one. Can I send?" "Sure." "Is this actually one of them, by the way?" And then, "It is, right?" It's yes, obviously, because all of a sudden Texzera changes everything. Before he was like, "Yeah, no problem. They'll never find me. They'll never get me. I'm totally safe." And then now the guy is like, "Hey, look it. Russians took your shit and doctored it and it's spreading it around. Is this your shit?" And he's like, I'm not saying anything anymore. Ah! He's like, "I done fucked up." Ah! Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Not commenting. All right, I'm gonna delete it too. Did you share that outside of AVIS? And he said, "I think I'm done talking about this." Ah! Because he's caught. He got caught. He's in trouble. The guy's like, "Okay." He's like, "Permanently." He's like, "Sorry if I pushed you here." He's like, "He didn't push you, dude. He let you let him know that he's in trouble, that his shit got used by Russians." So he's like, "It's just fine. I'm just letting you know I'm leaving the server. Don't make a huge deal of it." Dude, you've been spreading around top secret documents and the Russians got a hold of it, and now you think you're just going to disappear? He's like, "Don't worry about it." Ah! It's a pretty dead server anyways. Whistling through the graveyard, or whistling past the graveyard. I think it's best we head our separate ways. Ah! If anyone comes looking, don't tell them shit. Pass this on to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell all these people who I've been talking to, don't talk about me. Ah! Dude, you are screwed. I mean, tell them not to tell anyone. Whenever you get this, try to delete all my messages and civil discussions, especially those not in the thread. Give me an invite, then ban me and delete all my messages. Like, dude's seriously trying to cover his tracks. Yeah, he was trying to cover his tracks big time. "I'd like to thank everyone who came to the thread about the current event going on and participated in listening to me cover said event since the beginning. I was very happy and willing and enthusiastic to have covered this event for the past year and share it with all of you, something that not many people get to see." Something very few people, in fact, get to see, except Russians. "But despite all of this, I've decided to stop with the updates. If you guys do you want happenings that pertain to your country or events or politics or whatever, you can DM me and I can tell you what I have, but it's going to always be a brief summary. I can't promise speed or prompt response, but I will respond to you eventually, so offers on the table. If you want to take it until then, I'll still be sticking around here, still be posting shit, so not going away anywhere. Don't worry about that. You're not going to be posting, dude. You're done. You're going to prison. So this dude betrayed the United States, stole U.S. documents, and gave them to Russians who used them against us. Gave them to Tucker Carlson, who then broadcast the Russian documents as if they were real. Oh my gosh, Tucker Carlson. So all this terrible stuff, that guy would be on board with. Because he's on board with the collapse of the United States. How can you be on board with the collapse of the United States and want to defend Taiwan at the same time? How can you do that? How did this guy manage to get top secret documents? Well, in April 2019, Donald Trump signed an executive order moving all remaining background checks from OPM to Department of Defense and cut the time it takes from 150 days to 80 days. Teixeira got his clearance in 2021. So, in other words, Donald Trump basically slashed all the requirements necessary for background checks. Remember when he gave top secret clearance to Jared Kushner, even though Jared Kushner was denied a bunch of times? Donald Trump screwed us in multiple ways. I can't even explain to you how many ways because I'm still figuring it out. But like this is one of them. Donald Trump reduced the amount of background checking we needed in order to give people top secret clearance. Well, then some bad people got top secret clearance and then gave all our secrets out to Russians to use against us. Donald Trump, guys. Donald Trump is what is the problem. Donald Trump caused that. Jax Teixeira could not get a gun license from his state in 2018 because he'd been suspended as a violent racist threat in high school. But after a background check, the United States gave him top secret clearance a couple years later. What? How come a guy who was denied a gun in his own state could get top secret clearance from the United States government? How is that even possible? Like, here, let's read some of this stuff. The defendant entered in the U.S. Air National Guard on September 19th. Since May 2022, the defendant has served as an E3 airman with the title of Cyber Defense Operations Journeyman. During that time, he was stationed in Otis National Air Guard Base in Massachusetts. The defendant had security clearance at the top secret compartmented information level since 2021. In connection with his enlistment, the defendant signed multiple security and non-disclosure agreements, including whatever. He was like, here, they knew about it, right? In 2018, while still a teenager, the defendant applied for a firearms identification application and was denied due to concerns of the local police department. Cited his position of trust. Oh, man. So he was like, I mean, here, let's go on further, right? In his dorm room, right? In his dorm room, look what's posted in his dorm room. What is that? What is the symbol here? This is posted in the dude's dorm room, in his room. What symbol is that? That symbol is this symbol. It's a Russian symbol. This guy, this National Air Guardsman with top secret clearance, fucking had a Russian like guard symbol hanging in his room. There it is, and there it is closer. There it is on hanging in his room. There it is closer. Hate to generalize, pwn all the things. Hate to generalize, but I'm just going to say it as I see it. If you have the insignia of the Russian General Staff prominently on display in your bedroom, U.S. government probably shouldn't give you a top secret, secretly compartmentalized information and let you wander around the IT networks where the JCS daily brief is freely available for you to print out and take home. Him. Can I have a gun? Cops. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Whoa, holy shit, no. You're on the off the deep end crazy. And we'd normally let basically anyone have a gun. Department of Justice. Would you like to have top secret clearance and unrestricted access to the JCS brief? Okay. 2 years later, DOD in a hot dog costume. Look, we're all trying to figure out work out who did this, okay? Ah, you guys did. You guys fucked up. And it's because Donald Trump took away secret clearances. Remember? Donald Trump took away the secret clearances. Department of Justice didn't notice when their dude was hanging a fucking Russian symbol in their own dorm room. Ah! Holy, maybe I should have joined the military. Holy shit. Actually, it probably wouldn't have been possible. There's no way I could have joined the military back then. And now I'm too old. So that's funny. But it's like, what are you doing? I can't believe that. Something like that. The chess playing guy, he would be on board with this. He would be on board with this traitor who betrayed the United States and gave all his secrets to Russians. He would be on board with it because he wants our country to collapse. We can't be friends. We cannot. Oh man. There is so much. Okay, remember Donald Trump. Remember, Donald Trump took away the rules in April 2019. He signed an executive order that took away all took away a lot of the background checks. That's why that Texiera guy could get into the position that he got in. Man, how's that even possible, dude? How's that even possible? Okay, here's something else that Donald Trump did. In 2018, March 21, 2018, Donald Trump was warned and given a piece of paper that was written on, "Do not congratulate." Putin, quote, won his election in 2018. But remember, the elections in Russia are not real. They're fake. They're all rigged. They are literally rigged in Russia, so that you have no choice but to vote for Putin. Even if you don't vote, if you vote against Putin, they're going to find you. And just to make sure that Putin wins, they just add extra ballots to make sure that he's definitely going to win, Putin. So that's not a valid democracy. That's not valid at all. You don't congratulate the dictator for being a dictator, for pretending to be a democracy. But so it was written on Donald Trump's paper when he was president. When you called Vladimir Putin, don't congratulate him on his sham election. But Donald Trump did anyways. He couldn't help himself. Briefing papers warned Trump, do not congratulate Putin. Washington. This is President Donald Trump was warned in briefing materials to refrain from congratulating Russian President Vladimir Putin on his re-election, but he did so anyways, a senior administration official said Wednesday.
And donor interests.
Crash. Okay. Aides included a section in Trump's briefing materials for his Tuesday morning phone call to Putin stating, "Do not congratulate," said the official, who spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity to discuss internal matters. The White House said in a statement it is a fireable offense and likely illegal to leak Trump's briefing papers to the press. The message was first reported by the Washington Post. It was unclear whether Trump, who prefers oral briefings, read the talking points prepared by his national security team before the call. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster briefed the president in person before the call in the White House residence. So Donald Trump is clearly on Team Russia. He doesn't do anything. Let's see, what else? Man, I don't know if there's too much in here. I have too much stuff. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm so sad about it. I don't know. Not sad about it. I'm tired of it. But I don't know. Do I have the luxury of being tired about it? I literally was I don't go out very much, right? I don't go out very much because the best I can hope for is a neutral experience. Like, I don't have very good experiences when I go out anymore. Why? Because look at the result of my past experience, the experience I just had. The guy I decided to hang out with is like literally like trying to overthrow my country, which is the exact opposite of what I've been trying to do. Like, hey, mushrooms on a tiny little mushroom island. What's up, guys? Make a bucket. Oh, no, I need a bowl. Nope. You can't get suspicious stew out of these guys? Oh, there we go, mushroom stew. Yeah, you can. Oh, that's funny. I got mushroom stew. Oh, but then what else do I need to make suspicious stew? Like a mushroom? I don't remember. Oh, they're all filled up. Nice. But they're not stackable. You can't stack them. Well, okay then. The mushroom land, the mushroom land. Is that mushroom? What if I dig into the ground? Is it no longer mushroom? I think you can only be on the surface. Only the surface is monster proof in mushroom land. Man, I don't know. I have all this bad stuff. Study on free stuff. Free distribution or cost sharing. Evidence from a randomized malaria prevention experiment. Oh shit. Ah, wait a minute. Go back here. So what this experiment did was they gave malaria nets to random people. Or they either gave malaria nets or they charged people for malaria nets, pregnant women in Africa. What country? In Kenya, in which we randomized the price at which prenatal clinics could sell long-lasting anti-malarial insecticide treated bed nets to pregnant women. We find no evidence that cost sharing reduces wastage on those who will not use the product. Women who received free ITNs are not less likely to use them than those who paid subsidized positive prices. We also find no evidence that, so in other words, people who got free nets didn't mean they were going to waste it any more than the people who actually paid for the nets. If you're going to waste the net, you're going to waste it. Doesn't matter if you got it for free or if you paid for it. You're going to waste it. We also find no evidence that cost sharing induces selection of women who need the net more. Those who pay higher prices appear no sicker than the average prenatal client in the area in terms of measured anemia, an important indicator of malaria. Cost sharing does, however, considerably dampen demand. So, if you need it more, like the price didn't, the amount of price didn't matter. If you wanted a net, you're going to pay for a net. It didn't matter how much it costs. And it didn't matter about your sickness either, right? We find no evidence that cost sharing, which is pricing, induces selection of women who need the net more. Those who pay higher prices appear no sicker than the average prenatal. So it wasn't how sick you were. It wasn't like if you got it for free or if you paid. If you're going to use the net, you're going to use the net. what they found out that was if it did cost money, people used the net less. That's the thing that they found out. We find that uptake drops by 60 percentage points when the price increases from 0 to 60 cents, i.e. from 100% to a 90% subsidy. A price still 15% below the price at which ITNs are currently sold to pregnant women in Kenya. So in other words, just increasing the price to not even the full price, but to below the full price. By increasing the price to like half of the full price, the use dropped to 60%. That means more people got malaria. Just because, making people pay didn't make them use it more. Not making people pay didn't mean they wasted the free things they got. All it meant is that if you made people pay, it meant less people used the net. That's the only thing that happened. In other words, giving people free stuff doesn't stop their motivation, doesn't increase their wastages, and making them pay for it doesn't increase their motivation for it. All it does when you make them pay for it is make the use go down, make the usage go down a lot. That's the only thing. So we should probably think about those things, and this is science, right? I'm not making this up. I'm interpreting for you the results of a scientific experiment and extrapolating to universal basic income. If you give people free money, they're not going to waste it. They're going to use it for what they need. That's why it's a good idea to give the poorest people cash every month, nonstop, until forever, really, because like everyone should get a basic level of income. Feed the soil, not the plant. Feed the people, not the corporations. So, Fox News did a survey, and found that 87% of people favor a background check for guns. So right now in the United States, we have 50 states, and all 50 states have 50 different laws regarding guns, which is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to deal with guns in the United States, because we don't have a universal patchwork law. The last time we had a universal law, like for the whole country, federal law, it was an assault weapon ban, and that reduced the number of deaths associated with assault weapons. Pretty good deal, right? So one of the reasons why gun advocates say they don't want a universal gun law is because they think that each state is different, and each state has its own like needs and stuff. So they want to tailor the law to each individual state. But that's bullshit, because I already know from studying that there are many states that have been taken over by Confederates, white supremacists, and their form of government does not work to represent the people. In fact, they warp the system so that on purpose it doesn't reflect the electorate. Confederates don't want the government to reflect the will of the people. So conservatives who argue states' rights for gun laws are disingenuous, because those states that restrict the gun laws are doing so not on the people's will, but on the will of the state elite. So that's bullshit. Because the majority of people, 87%, want universal background checks. 81% want enforcement of existing gun laws. Oregon just passed a gun law that would restrict the amount of ammo you could have in your weapon. And there was at least one sheriff that came out in writing saying he would refuse to enforce it. What's the point of passing laws if the sheriff is just going to pick and choose which laws he enforces? Particularly when it comes to gun laws, particularly when we know guns and white supremacy go hand in hand. That's another thing. That chess playing white supremacist dude was offended that he didn't say so, but I could feel that he was offended that I wanted to regulate guns. He did not want to continue on that conversation when I started talking. He did not want to, because he knew if he offended me or if he challenged me, I'd go off on him. Maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe that's not what he wanted. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to play chess. But how do I play chess with a guy who's like that? Anyways, so 81% want the legal age to be 21 to purchase all guns. That's like common sense stuff. But good luck getting that passed in states controlled by white supremacists like Texas and Florida and Nebraska and Kansas. 80% want to ban it on assault weapons. And a minority of Americans want more citizens carrying guns. So it's pretty clear what the people want. It's pretty clear what they want. There's one party that responds to what the people want and passes gun legislation, and there's another party that does the opposite of what the people want. The people that does what the people want is the Democratic Party. The party that does the opposite of what the people want is the Republican Party. How do I know this? Look at Tennessee, guys. Look at Tennessee. The people of Tennessee want gun reform after kids were murdered by assault weapons, and the Tennessee legislature, controlled by Republicans, responded by kicking out their representatives and then passing laws to defend the manufacturers of guns. Not the people who got murdered by the guns, but the manufacturers of guns. That tells you that Republicans do not represent the people. They do not represent the people. All their arguments about states' rights are bullshit because they don't actually represent the people. They represent themselves. So let's look at Montana. Governor signs bills defending campus free speech in Montana. But what does that mean? At the same time, transgender lawmaker disciplined. What the hell's going on? Why is she being disciplined for her free speech? She didn't say anything. She didn't. Oh, wait, no, she did say something. She said the truth. She said if the Montana state government passes a law that stops transgendered people from getting the health care they want, it will lead to an increase of suicide. And those suicides, that blood, that death will be on the hands of the Montana legislators. Truth, fact. Come at me, bro. You can't. You can't. It's fact. And because of the fact, the truth that Zoe Zephyr spoke, because of the truth she spoke on the floor, the Montana Republicans kicked her out. Oh, I don't have a bed on me, dude. I have to fly home. Can I hide under here? No. I have to fly home. Hold on. Let me fly home. Wanna fly home. I think it's this way. I don't remember. Which way is home? So, the rising sun. I can't tell which way it's going. So it's that way. Yeah, okay. Yes, this is the right way. All right. Ow! Ow! All right. So here, let's read the story. Transgender lawmaker Zoe Zephyr has been barred from the Montana House floor. She has been protesting GOP leaders who silenced her after she spoke out about a bill that would ban transgender affirming care for minors. So Zoe Zephyr spoke the truth, and GOP representatives silenced her. So they don't actually care about free speech. So it's weird juxtaposition that the governor signs a bill defending campus free speech while banning free speech by people they don't like who speak the truth. Remember, the Montana House, on a 68-32 vote, bans the state's first trans woman lawmaker, Rep. Zoe Zephyr, from the floor, anteroom, and gallery for the rest of the session, following several days of silencing her after she raised her mic for supporters in the gallery Monday. I mean, they will kick her out for any. Republicans will kick them out for any little thing. They don't apply the same standard to themselves, however. Remember, standards are not they don't use the system in order to, uphold a better society. They use the system in order to maintain control of white supremacy. Because anti-trans is white supremacy. Look at it. Listen to this Montana legislator. She has a trans son. I think it's a son. She has a trans son. And she would rather her son commit suicide than live the life that he wants. Listen to her. It's not me saying it. That's her saying it. Listen.
One of the big issues that we have heard today and we've talked about lately is that without surgery, the risk of suicide goes way up.
Surgery? I don't know if it's surgery. I don't know what it is, right? It's not my thing to know about. No! I'm not in it. I don't have to know what you guys do with your medical stuff. All I know is that what doctors tell me. Doctors say, hey, if we let kids do the treatment they need, they don't kill themselves. We save kids. We save kids by letting them do what they want. She is trying to couch it in certain terms as if she knows it's surgery. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's not my business to know. It's not my business.
Well, I am one of those parents who lived with a daughter who was suicidal for 3 years.
Maybe. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, she didn't have a transgender son. Her daughter has a mental illness, depression, mental illness, right? Mental illness, depressed.
Someone once asked me, wouldn't I just do anything to help save her? And I really had to think.
What?
And the answer was no.
The party of life. She's like, oh yeah, I would abandon my own kid. I don't love you unconditionally. You have to be like me. Man, that's not love. That's indoctrination. That's grooming. Holy shit. So you can tell Republicans don't send their best people.
I was not going to give in to her emotional manipulation.
Emotional manipulation? Dude, she's mentally ill. She's mentally ill. Do you blame people who are schizophrenic for their own illness? Do you blame them for not being able to distinguish between the multiple voices yelling at them? Do you blame them for that? Really? Do you blame the AIDS patient for having AIDS? Do you blame the cancer patient for having cancer? Like, cancer patient, you're not gonna manipulate me, cancer patient. I don't care if you're in pain. Don't look at me like that, like you're suffering a great deal. You're just trying to manipulate me. Listen to her, dude. Oh my god, that's terrible, man. But this is the kind of people that want to control the aspect of all of our lives. She wants to be the one in control. She wants to be the one in control, and she's like exercising her control via the Montana State Legislature over other people. So she's taking away other people's freedom.
Because she was incapable of making those decisions, and I had to make those decisions for her.
See, like, look at that. I had to make those decisions for her. She was incapable. Why? Because she doesn't want to, like, because she was having mental illness, having, like, I don't know what's going on, maybe. but it sounds like you don't have any compassion for your daughter. You have, like, none. You're blaming her for her depression. Look at that. Have you looked at the world around you? It's pretty easy.
It's not going to let her tear apart my family, and I was...
You're going to blame her for the mentally ill person. It's like you blame the sick person for their sickness. Like this. So this person who's blaming sick people for the illness is passing laws, like banning them from the care that they need. I can't believe this woman. I don't even want to listen to her anymore. She wants her own daughter to die. She would rather her own daughter than to die. I can't believe it. Montana, it's happening all over the country. Oh yeah, here, continuing. Republicans used a series of procedures to remove every bill from my committees, silencing my constituents beyond what they already voted to do. My constituents elected me to speak on their behalf in committee and on the floor, and stopping me from doing so is anti-democratic. It's true, right? She was kicked off the floor. She didn't get kicked out of committees and the legislative process. They have completely removed her ability to be a representative for the people who elected her. Completely, utterly, totally. Totally. It's absolutely silencing a representative. Totally and unjustly. That's anti-democratic. But that's exactly who they are, right? They haven't lied about it. Confederate Republicans are Confederates who want to overthrow the United States and replace it with an illiberal republic in which only the elites rule and only the elites get to have a say in government. They tell you that every day. They tell you that every day. Kansas Republicans' new anti-transgender bathroom law defines female as a person who produces ova, eggs, which means that infertile women, intersex women, postmenopausal women, and prepubescent, I mean like girls, little girls, are legally banned from using women's bathrooms in the state. Because because little girls don't produce ova. They don't produce eggs. Little girls, prepubescent girls, have eggs in them, like in their ovaries, but they don't produce them. So under the Kansas law, since they don't produce eggs, they can't use the bathroom, a women's bathroom. If you go through menopause, you technically don't produce eggs. Therefore, you can't use the women's bathroom. They have to make a third kind of bathroom. If you're infertile, then you can't use the women's bathroom. If you're using contraceptives so that you don't like release eggs, I don't know how that works. Maybe you do release eggs. I don't know how that works. but they've stopped grandma from using the women's bathroom. They have to make a new bathroom for like infertile women or just a third bathroom from other in Kansas under Kansas law, because they're so focused on hating on trans women that they can't really see anything else. It's not about free speech, right? They're about control. Kansas overrides Government Kelly's veto of SB 180. The Kansas government is now banned from recognizing the existence of transgendered people. There are tons of unknown consequences that open the state up to civil rights and lawsuits and losing federal funds. So Kansas Senate overrides veto of SB 180, which may be the most extreme anti-transgendered bill in the country. It bans the government from recognizing the existence of transgender people, raising major legal and human rights concerns. Like, I don't know. Like, who am I talking to anymore? I don't even know who I'm talking to. I don't even have like my audience anymore. When I walked outside, and the first person I talked to about anything of significance was a white supremacist. like I don't know what am I. Who am I talking to? Who's my audience? I need more coffee. I don't think anyone watched my last show. I don't think anyone's going to watch this show. Why would they? Let's see. Last night I had this horrible nightmare where I went to hell and Satan forced me to karaoke with him. That's right. The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. That's funny. Harlan Crow, who showered Clarence Thomas with expensive gifts, has donated to several Utah politicians. Nearly half the money the Texas billionaire has given to Beehive State politicos went to Senator Mike Lee. Wow, that billionaire who owns Clarence Thomas also owns Mike Lee. What are the privileges of ownership? What are the privileges of owning your own representative? Mike Lee says, the left is on a dangerous, relentless campaign to delegitimize the Supreme Court. Mike Lee said that. Why would Mike Lee defend the Supreme Court, which is owned by Harlan Crow? Because he's owned by Harlan Crow. So you can replace Mike Lee with Harlan Crow, and you can replace Clarence Thomas with Harlan Crow, and say, why would Harlan Crow defend Harlan Crow giving gifts to Harlan Crow? And it explains itself. Yeah, but it's not just Clarence Thomas. It's Neil Gorsuch too. For nearly this is by Heidi Preziblia. For nearly 2 years, beginning in 2015, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch sought a buyer for a 40-acre tract of property he co-owned in rural Granby, Colorado. 9 days after he was confirmed by Senate for a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court, the then Circuit Court judge got one. The chief executive, Greenberg Traurig, one of the nation's biggest law firms with a robust practice before the High Court. Gorsuch owned the property with two other individuals. On April 16th of 2017, Greenberg's Brian Duffy put under contract the 3,000 square foot log home on the Colorado River and nestled in the mountains northwest of Denver, according to real estate records. He and his wife closed on the house a month later, paying $1.8 million, according to a deed. Gorsuch, who held a 20% stake, reported making between $250,000 and $500,000 from the sale on his federal disclosure forms. Gorsuch did not disclose the identity of the purchaser. That box was left blank. Since then, Greenberg Triog has been involved in at least 22 cases before or presented to the court, according to a political review of the court's docket. This includes cases in which Greenberg either filed Damascus briefs or represented parties. In the 12 cases where Gorsuch's opinion is recorded, he sided with Greenberg clients 8 times and against them 4 times. So in other words, through like a shady back deal, he sold a property to a law firm who paid a bunch of money for it. And then Gorsuch made rulings for that law firm that helped out the law firm in the majority of times. Twice as often as they lost. So any money they paid to Gorsuch, they made back in court winnings before the Supreme Court. Do you see how that works? They made their money back. They paid him. They paid to buy the property, so Gorsuch got money, and then Gorsuch paid the money back by making them win court cases in which they got paid. Corruption. That's why the Supreme Court is not viewed as being legitimate. AOC. So members of the Supreme Court accepted payments from billionaires and special interests who had business before the court and kept that info from the public. Now they are refusing to comply with a congressional inquiry about it. The court is delegitimizing themselves. Right? Because after all this went down and we find out that Clarence Thomas is owned by Harlan Crow, and we find out that Neil Gorsuch is making property deals with people with firms that have business before the court. We're like, hey, dude, we would like to know what's going on before what's going on. So they asked Supreme Court Justice John Roberts to come before Congress to testify about what's going on. And John Roberts said, I don't have to. I'm king. Wow. That's amazing. So his court is totally corrupt, and he's saying that he's beyond censure. That he's beyond the reach of the other parties, of the other branches of government. He can do whatever he wants. His members can do whatever they want. They're unelected for life, and they have no controls on them whatsoever. Man, that's basically like a theological communion thing. They're like elected theocrats. They're unelected theocrats, basically. You can't have unelected theocrats beyond control of the people. That's undemocratic. But that's what's going on. Oh, there's just so much here, dude. I don't even want to care. Look at all these people who got killed. It's just dumb. A well-regulated militia does not kill children. If you're So this, I don't know who this guy is. Vivek Ramaswamy said, I believe that abortion is a form of murder, but he does nothing about actual murder. So that's how you can show that Republicans don't actually have any moral consistency to them whatsoever, because he's willing to take away healthcare from women. His reasoning is that he's willing to sacrifice women, the freedom of women, in order to save children from murder. That's what he says, right? But what about actual children actually dying? Would he do anything about that? And the answer is no. Where is that? The kids who get killed. I got too much here. I need to organize it into folders. Study on free stuff. Firearms. Kids get killed by firearms at the most. Where is that? Listen to me, dude. I'm like all blah. That's what I feel like. It's like I've been telling you this for 5 years, and then I run into a guy who doesn't know anything going on, doesn't know anything about anything, and he's like a proud white supremacist. I'm like, I can't handle it. It's like no one's listening to what I'm saying, or even if they are, it doesn't matter. It's like preaching to the choir. I don't want to do any of this anymore. Yeah, here. Firearms overtook auto accidents as the leading cause of death in children. Will he do anything about firearms? No, because he doesn't actually care about kids. He only uses babies, the word babies, in order to control women and to override people's reasoning with emotion. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should stop doing this, because is it even Was there a point? West Virginia. 42 women, including 10 minors, plan to file a lawsuit against West Virginia State Police for hidden cameras in junior troopers' locker rooms. Rampant sexual misconduct. Admitted evidence has been destroyed. So in other words, troopers, it's not trans people, it's not drag queens. State troopers in West Virginia put cameras in kids' changing rooms to record them when they're naked. Then, when they were caught and they kept that as evidence, oh look, magically it disappeared from our evidence locker. Oh well. And then these same people say, don't look at that, look at the trans people. Don't look at that, look at the gay people. Don't look at that, look at the drag queens. Piss down my leg and tell me it's raining. This is hilarious. And it's true. George W. Bush's grandpa tried to overthrow FDR in a fascist coup. What? Yes. Prescott Bush was part of a cabal of powerful business interests that hated the New Deal and wanted a Mussolini-style corporatocracy in America, so they tried to do their own march on Rome. They were almost successful. Yeah, the business coup, the business plot. Look it up! They were almost successful, by the way. The only reason they weren't is that the proposed figurehead, Smedley Butler, realized something smelled fishy. He wasn't a fascist. He actually radicalized later in life and wrote a book called War is a Racket. Cool guy. Jesse, what the hell are you talking about? It's real, guys. It's real. It's real. Prescott Bush, back in 1920, tried to overthrow the United States government and was stopped by Smedley Butler because Smedley Butler didn't want to go along. Later on, H.W. Bush would become the director of the CIA, of all of the spy shit. He'd have all the information. This H.W. Bush. Later on, this H.W. Bush will become president. You don't need to overthrow the government when you're already president. Later on, his son would go on to overthrow the government. W. Bush literally overthrew the government by installing himself as president instead of going along with what the people wanted, which was Al Gore. So we have this one family, the Bush family, has tried is like a family of overthrowing the United States government. They tried in the 20s. They did so de facto with H.W. Bush and the CIA director, as being the CIA director, and they did so explicitly through W. Bush. It's a family of coup. They're an anti-American family, the Bush family. So yeah, the Supreme Court justices. Clarence Thomas is owned by Harlan Crow. Fuck you. Thomas Alito is a fascist. Fuck you. Neil Gorsuch is corrupt because he sells property to law firms and who pay him. Law firms pay him by buying his property, and then he pays them back by ruling favorably in court cases. So fuck you. And then we got Sotomayor. You're cool. We got oh my gosh, Jackson, you're cool. Kagan, you're cool. And then we got Amy Coney Barrett. She shouldn't even be there, dude. She replaced Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but they did so 2 weeks before an election, well, actually, 2 weeks before an election ended, the election was already going on. People had already cast their votes that was going to flip the Senate, and that would change this entire Supreme Court nomination. But Mitch McConnell rushed it real fast anyways, and put Amy Coney Barrett in there, and then she's a fascist. Fuck her. And then Kavanaugh, he's a rapist and a drunk. Fuck you too. What do we got here? Like YouTube, I think that's why I don't have any views on YouTube, because I use so many curse words that they just don't let me, like, they won't have me on there anymore. I can't monetize nothing. All right. So here's a nice display of what you got here. There's Clarence Thomas. I don't know who these other people are, but you're cool, and you're cool. Fuck all the rest of you. Fuck you guys. All right. Yeah, that Texterra guy. Fuck that guy. Why don't conservative states just use thoughts and prayers to stop abortions? After all, that's what they use. That's what they use when people murder actual live children in schools. Right? How come they can use the power of the state to stop abortions, but can't use the power of the state to stop children getting murdered by guns? Because they don't actually care about children. They only care about control. I can't make it any more clear. And it's like I feel powerless when I go outside, right? I walked outside. I was literally face to face with a white supremacist, and I couldn't really do anything about it. I was I couldn't do anything about it. Like, we had to remain civil. I mean, what could I have done? Made a scene? That would have got me kicked out. Like, people don't want me causing problems. I tried it. They don't like it. It's not going to do any good. Like, no one's going to, like, that's the thing. Why isn't this Nazi, like, ostracized from society? Right? If the guy's walking around saying, yeah, I'd like to see society collapse. I'd like to overthrow the government. I'm a white supremacist. I don't think very highly of women. Like, a guy like that should be ostracized from society, not welcomed into it. I think that's what got me, that was part of what triggered me the first time. So, before I made a sign, Donald Trump had been elected. I realized he was a traitor. I was walking into Starbucks trying to have a civil conversation with this older veteran dude who was a pro-Trump guy. And it came to the point when he said straight to my face that that pretty much came out as a racist, and a misogynist. And I'm like, how can you be a racist and misogynist in society without any repercussions? So I flipped out and I gave him repercussions for voicing racist, misogynist stuff. I gave him repercussions, but I was the ones who suffered the consequences, not him. I'm like, oh, you voice racist Nazi shit? I'm calling you a Nazi. Oh, look, I get kicked out. So I already tried that. Like, then since I got kicked out of Starbucks, I started going to McDonald's in the mornings. And then I saw a bunch of old people who gathered there. And I tried to explain to them in a polite manner that Donald Trump was a traitor. And they wouldn't listen to me, and they made fun of me. So then at that point, I also was going at the Salem Saturday Market. So at that point, I figured out, and they were using signs, so I decided to make my own sign. And that's what really got them. I always sat right next to them with my sign on display and not even talking to them. And they literally came out of their seat to attack me. These old people. To get to my sign. They couldn't handle it. They just couldn't handle my sign. I didn't say anything to them. They would talk to me. They would film me. They literally called the police a few times until the manager came and called the police, and then the police came and kicked me out. Why? Because I was telling a bunch of old people what was up, and they kicked me out of that for that. So like I don't know what and now I'm doing a show, right? They can't kick me out of doing my own show. I mean, they can kick me out of doing my own show, but man, I don't know what to do. Like, look at this, and like the fact that he's just walking around like talking to people, like not a care in the world. Like, aren't you like ashamed? Ben Collins says, the Chans thought Tucker was one of them, and it's hard to argue he wasn't. The goal was to get 4chan talking points on air, and they often succeeded. No other show on TV behaves like this. There's one less incentive to push these racist lies. They won't reflect on TV anymore. Deplatforming works. Rachel Bittenkoffer says, Ken Block, former founder of the firm Simpatico Software Systems, studied more than a dozen voter fraud theories and allegations for Trump's campaign in late 2020 and found they were all false, he said in an interview with the Washington Post. So a second firm hired by Trump campaign found no evidence of election fraud. In other words, Trump campaign hired two firms to look for evidence of voter fraud or election fraud so that Donald Trump could play them up in the media. And two separate firms found nothing. So they knew that there was no voter fraud, but Donald Trump went with it anyways because his goal was not to stop voter fraud. His goal was to literally overthrow the government of the United States. It's super clear, guys. Super clear. Let's see. An incident in the classroom involved an extremely loud noise. A Knoxville parent tells us these were the emails received by West High families after a gun went off in a backpack, grazing a teacher. Eventually, they let kids out early after medium lockdown. So in other words, this is just after 6 people were murdered by someone in a school. Just after 6 people were murdered by someone in a school, the Tennessee legislature responded by protecting gun manufacturers. Then some kid with a gun in his backpack put down his backpack roughly, and that gun went off and it shot a teacher. Could have shot someone else. Maybe that one day that kid goes off and shoots a bunch of other people. Who knows? Maybe the kid thought he needed that gun to protect him because he knew the police wouldn't do it. And then remember, the Tennessee legislature knows this is what's going on and they don't care. They want more kids to die. They're more concerned about white supremacy. They want to preserve white supremacy. God, I don't know how much more clear I can say it. I want you to vote, right? That's the whole thing. I want you to vote. They fucked up Republicans fucked up the vote in the states that they control, but in the states that we control, voting is awesome, and you should do it for sure. And even if you live in a state where Republicans have fucked up the vote, you should do it anyways. You should do it anyways. You should force them to be as blatantly anti-democratic as possible, and make it obvious that they don't want you to vote, that they're trying to stop you from voting. That's the strongest thing you can do. Okay, the party of fascism. In a way, it's fascinating. Who'd imagine a political party would stand up and shout, "We hate blacks and veterans. We want women barefoot and pregnant, and LGBTQ plus genocide. We oppose free elections. We worship guns. We benefit literally no one but the super rich and Christian book burners. Fuck you." That's the Republican Party entirely. Who would have thought? Texas Senate passes bill requiring 10 commandments in every classroom. The legislature also passed a bill forcing schools to set aside time for students to pray and study religious texts. What is going on? You know, there's a symbol in the Bible that's real powerful, that's real strong. It's a promise, you know, according to the Bible, it's a promise from God to the people that he would never ever flood the world again. He would never do it again. It's a promise. It's a promise. He would never do it again. What was that symbol? And it's a symbol of hope. It's a symbol of hope. What is that symbol of hope that God gave to the people? And that is his promise that he would never destroy people again. What is that promise? It's a rainbow. It's a rainbow. Rainbows are forbidden from being shown in Texas classrooms. Why is it that these Republicans want to enforce the display of one religious text, but not one religious symbol, but not another religious symbol? Why would they have a preference of one and then ban the other? Enforcement of one, but banning of the other. Why is that? Because they don't actually follow the Bible. It's arbitrary. It's arbitrary. They use the Bible just to control people. They don't actually care about the nature. What is, I guess, the supposed purpose of the Bible is to create a better human being. But that's like an old version. It's old software. It's an old operating system. I mean, maybe if you install the upgrades, but they don't want to. They have a bad fork. That's so funny. It's a programming language. That's funny. That's awesome. Yeah, they have a bad fork. No. All right. Yeah, they have a bad fork. So it's like they're full of shit. Senator John Hawley, Brett Baer. I want to pin you down on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to say that Trump will be president after January 20th? So, okay, this was made. Look at this was tweeted. This was done on January 4th, 2021, 2 days before the insurrection. All these people knew it. Remember, Josh Hawley is in on it. He's in on it. He is part of the crew. Remember, him and a bunch of other people in the Senate and in the House purposely voted not to certify the election at the same time that the rioters outside were storming the Capitol. It was a plan to do it at the same time. They both wanted to stop the transfer of power. So Josh Hawley knows the plan going forward. So he's giving hints that he knows there won't be a transfer of power. But he can't outright say it yet. But he's giving hints that he knows something's up. Watch. So Brett Baer's like, I want to pin you down on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to say that Trump will be president after January 20th? And Josh Hawley says, well, that depends on what happens on Wednesday. Wednesday is on would be January 6th. And Baer says, no, it doesn't. Because January 6th hadn't happened yet. But Josh Hawley knows that something's going down on January 6th. And he knows that whatever happens in January 6th it's going to try to keep Trump in power. He knows he's in on the coup. He's in on the coup. And it's not just me. Listen for yourself.
I'm going to pin you down on what you're trying to do. You know, are you trying to say that as of January 20th, that President Trump will be president?
Well, that depends on what happens on Wednesday. I mean, this is why we have the debate.
No, it doesn't.
This is why
I mean,
we
the
have
states,
the
by the Constitution, say they certify the election. They did certify it. By the Constitution, Congress doesn't have the right to overturn the certification.
They're already saying it. This is on January 4th. The election is done. It's finished. Donald Trump already went to court, lost all his court cases. There's nothing left. There's nothing left to do. So what is Donald Trump doing? He's gonna make a revolution. He's gonna try to have a coup and overthrow the government. Josh Hawley is in on the plan. He is in on the plan. That's why when he's given a direct question about the transfer of power, Josh Hawley waffles. He won't even say it because he knows that something's coming on January 6th. He is in on the coup. I mean, how much more proof do I need to give you?
At least as most experts read it.
Well, Congress is directed under the 12th Amendment to count the electoral votes. There's a statute that dates back to the 1800s, rather, 19th century, that says that there is a right to object. There's a right.
See, right there. They're planning on objecting. They already have this plan. They're going to object to stop the certification of the votes, and then the mob is going to come in. If it's bad enough, Donald Trump can declare martial law. If it's not bad enough, all you need to do is stop them from finishing it that day. If you can even delay it a day, that's enough to say, oh, look, it wasn't done on the correct day. It wasn't done by the Constitution, therefore it's not valid, and they can continue to try to hold on to power. It was a big plan, guys. It was a big plan, and he's telling you 2 days before it happened. He's telling you. Where'd my cursor go? There it is.
Right to be heard, and there's also a certification
right,
process.
That's from 1876, Senator, and it's right. the Tilden-Hayes race, in which there were 3 states that did not certify their electors. So Congress was left to come up with this system, this commission, that eventually got to a negotiated grand bargain. But now all of the states have certified their elections as of December 14th, so it doesn't, by constitutional ways, open a door to Congress to overturn that, does it?
See, it's already happened. It was all done as of December 14th. Everything's done. All the states are finished with their stuff. And now it's all coming to Congress, and Congress is going to say, yep, all the states did their stuff. That's what they're doing. But Josh Hawley is arguing that no, I'm going to object at this time. Which by itself wouldn't be enough, right? Just him objecting wouldn't be enough. It was the combined effect of him objecting with the other senators and representatives, along with the mob outside the halls. It was the combined effect in order to stop the transfer of power. And he tells you what's up 2 days before it happens.
Well, no, I'm talking about the statute, Brett. There's a statute that says, that governs what Congress does on January the 6th, and it says that we have a vote of certification and that we have the opportunity to debate the
opportunity. He's weaseling word his way through there.
Results, to certify the results. We count them and then we certify. And my point is, this is my only opportunity during this process to raise an objection and to be heard. I don't have. So this is in other words, this is his last chance to do something. Or they're going to lose power. So like they tell us, I mean, like, hindsight is 20/20, right? But you got to look. If you don't look, you're never going to know. Scott Campbell to GOP, yeah, whatever. North Carolina Supreme Court just overturned its own past ruling that said partisan gerrymandering is illegal, clearing the way for Republicans to redraw the state's congressional lines in a way that heavily favors the GOP. Remember how the John Roberts Court got rid of the Voting Rights Act? That let the former Confederate states pass any law they want regarding elections. Before, they couldn't do that because they would pass laws that hurt it would hurt voting of minorities in the past. That's what Confederates did. So the Voting Rights Act said, no, you can't change your laws anymore unless the government, the feds say it's okay. John Roberts said, no, never mind. Racism is over. That's done. You don't need to do that anymore. Well, as soon as they did that, all the Republicans passed again these laws that stop minorities from voting and lock in Republican control, minority control. So this is just an example. North Carolina Supreme Court just did that. They just locked in on. So they're going to gerrymander the whole state. What does gerrymandering do? I explained it last time, but this is a good way of putting it. If you have 60% blue and 40% red, perfect representation would be like this. You could have a compact representation, but it's not fair, right? You'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 districts, but the way you draw the lines, even though it's 40% red, they get 0% representation. This would be unfair and not just. You don't want that. That means your government doesn't reflect your people. It's not a good reflection of the people. If you have 40% red, but your government is pure blue, then your government doesn't represent the people. But gerrymandering is a different way of doing it. Gerrymandering is like the opposite. If you have 40% red and 60% blue, you would want the perfect government representation would have 40% red and 60% blue right here, right? Just like this, 3 blue districts and 2 red districts for the government to perfectly represent the people. But if you draw the lines in a certain way, where you compact all the blue into one and you spread out all the red into many, you can make it so that you have 3 red districts and 2 blue districts. You can flip this representation so that even though you're 60% blue and 40% red in actuality, in government it'll be 60% red and 40% blue. Minority rule. This is exactly what is going on in North Carolina. Republicans are using their power to draw the lines to skew government, to not represent the people, to move away from democracy. Because remember, Confederates are all about their illiberal republic, a republic of only elites. That's what they want, and that's what they're fighting for. Republicans block 184 military promotions in his ongoing abortion fight with the Pentagon. So there are women who are in the service and they have access to reproductive rights. Well, Republicans don't like the fact that women have control of their bodies. But Republicans don't have the power to compel other agencies to change their stances. Since they don't have the power to legally change, to force these agencies to change their stances, instead the Republicans used hostage taking. They take hostages in order to force the government to do things that they can't do normally. So here's an example. The government can't force the Pentagon to stop women from control of their bodies. They don't have the votes, right? They don't have enough votes to pass laws to make the Pentagon change the way they do things. So since they don't have enough power, they're going to do a terrorist thing. They're going to take hostages. They're saying, well, since I can't do this the legal, normal way through representation, I'm going to take these 184 military personnel and I'm going to hold a gun to their head and saying these military personnel, they want these promotions, but I'm going to not let them have it. I'm not going to let them get their promotion unless the Pentagon changes their way. I'm using my power. The representative Tuberville is using his power over a weaker group in order to force concessions from a more powerful entity. That's literally hostage taking. It's the same thing that Kevin McCarthy is doing with the United States. Kevin McCarthy is holding hostage the U.S. economy in order to force concessions from the United States government that he can't get through the normal legislative process because he doesn't have enough votes. But since he doesn't care about democracy, Kevin McCarthy, Republicans, the Senator Tuberville will use terrorist tactics in order to get what they want because they don't care what the people want. They only care what the elite wants. So yeah, he's screwing over our military in order to control women. Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama blocked 184 military promotions Tuesday in the latest chapter of his protest against Pentagon's new abortion policy. The drama unfolded in the Senate as Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Massachusetts Democrat, moved a request to allow for the promotions, and Tuberville blocked the action. I warned Secretary Austin that if he did this and changed this, I would put a hold on his highest level nominees. Secretary Austin went through with the policy anyways in February of this year, so I'm keeping my word. In other words, this government agency is doing something I don't like, so I'm going to harm this government agency to get my way. He has been blocking military promotions in objection to the Department of Defense providing leave and covering expenses for service members who travel to have abortions. Tuberville claims the policy is a violation of federal laws. If it were, then pass a new law or take it to court. No, he doesn't do that. Instead, he holds military hostage. Because remember, Republicans hate the military. They were going to leave the military in Afghanistan. Donald Trump had no intentions of following through with the peace treaty that he signed with Afghanistan, the Taliban. He had no intention. He was going to leave our troops in Afghanistan for no reason. To die for no reason. He was going to do it. He was going to do it. That's why nothing was done when Biden took over and it was time to leave. Because nothing was done. Biden had to do everything, plan everything. Because Donald Trump had no intention of leaving, because Donald Trump doesn't care about the military. Republicans don't care about the military. They will block people's promotions over something totally unrelated to their deserving of their promotion. They served themselves well. They served our country well. How dare you block their promotion for something that has nothing to do with them, has no reflection whatsoever on their service. But Republicans don't give a F. They don't give an F. They don't give a fuck. Because they're fascists. Yeah, you can't monetize anything I do. Ah! Feinstein, dude. By vote of 50 to 49, the Senate passed SJ Resolution Fisher Trucking Emissions CRA. Senator Manchin joined Republicans and voted in favor. Senator Feinstein did not vote. Feinstein's indefinite absence makes Joe Manchin the decisive vote again. This Republican-led measure just passed by a single vote. Feinstein is a senator from California who's really like, people harp on Joe Biden saying that he's too old to serve. Dudes, why don't you look at Senator Feinstein? She is literally not too old to serve. She is not well enough to serve, and she can't go to the Senate to cast votes. Or she can't go to the Senate to pass judicial nominees. She's literally too old to be doing this. Why doesn't she retire? Oh, because she gets a lot of power from holding this. Well, maybe she gets like a Senate like healthcare package. Well, maybe we should be giving that Senate healthcare package to all Americans, regardless of their employment status. In other words, she needs to retire and have someone who's there who can actually perform the duties required to serve the American people. Because she's not able to do it, Senator Feinstein. She needs to retire. Like, don't talk about Joe Biden when Senator Feinstein can't even do the things she's supposed to. All right, here's another thing. I stand with Evan. Evan is a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. Evan was in Russia just reporting for the Wall Street Journal when Russia abducted him. They kidnapped him. They basically arrested him and gave him a phony trial saying that he was espionage. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. He's just reporting on what's going on in Russia. That's not espionage. But remember, the Russian state is a fascist state. It cannot abide by the truth. It can, just like the fascists here in the United States can't abide by the truth. When Zoe Zephyr spoke the truth, they kicked her out. The fascists in Russia, same way. They can't abide by the truth. So when Evan Gersovich was reporting in Moscow, he got arrested by the police, and now he's being imprisoned for a sham trial. There's no reason he should be in prison, and it's a prison in Moscow is horrible. We need to get him out. He's no different than Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner, same thing, right? Like, there's no reason. Russia only kidnaps these people so they can exchange them for real criminals that we have over here in the West. So it's stupid. Like, it's stupid. Like, we need to get this guy back. I don't care if we need to trade real criminals. Like, that's the deal, right? We trade good people for real criminals. That's fine. Like, that's what happens when you deal with a fascist nation. They want criminals back for good in exchange for good people. Elon Musk censors tweets on behalf of fascist governments. Since Musk took ownership, the company has received 971 government demands and fully complied with 808 of them. Before Musk, Twitter's full compliance rate hovered around 50%. Since the takeover, it's over 80%. It's been exactly 6 months since Elon Musk took over Twitter, promising a new era of free speech and independence from political bias. But Twitter's self-reported data shows that under Musk, the company has complied with hundreds more government orders for censorship or surveillance, especially in countries such as Turkey and India. So under Musk, he's happy to censor stuff for fascist governments because Musk is a fascist.
85-4 partisan decisions, giving wins to big Republican donor interests. That's a hell of a record from the Roberts Court. The court's not supposed to do too many 5-4 decisions. They're supposed to try to find bigger majorities. And when the 5-4 decision breaks down along partisan lines, they should be even more cautious. But the Roberts Court, since he's been the chief, has rendered 5-4 partisan decisions 80 times. Every single one of those times, there was a big, easy to identify Republican donor interest implicated in the case. And guess what the win-loss record is? 80-0. If that's not a sign that something has gone wrong at the Roberts Court, I don't know what is. And 80 is a lot of decisions. We've laid them out here on the floor of a Senate hallway. Have a look. 80 partisan 5-4 decisions helping big Republican donor interests.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you own your own Supreme Court justices. This guy again, Vivek Ramaswamy. Chuck Todd says, "Are you confident that you know gender is as binary as you're describing?" And he says, "I am." So what that means, what's that equivalent to, is a blind, or not a colorblind person. A colorblind person swearing they know that there's no such thing as green. A colorblind person swearing that they know that there's no such thing as green. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So this guy swearing that gender is only a binary is the same thing as a colorblind man swearing that green does not exist. Just because he can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But the guy's a white supremacist, so what are you going to do? All right, look what happened in San Francisco. So there was a former fire chief named Carmen, and I don't want to show that. Here, this one.
Several years ago, we warned during the Trump tax cuts that this dramatic decrease in revenue would explode the nation's debt. And we heard from the Republican side, no, let us write off our yachts, yet let us write off our private jets. And we said that this decrease in revenue would explode our national debt. But instead now of realizing the error of our ways and reversing these tax cuts for the wealthy, we are now seeing the Republican side promote a bill that cuts student loan cancellation, veterans health care, cancer research, opioid treatment, Meals on Wheels, and more.
Yeah, since Republicans can't pass any bills, what they're doing is like they're saying, all right, we're going to hold hostage the United States unless you stop the Infrastructure Reduction Act, or the infrastructure bill. No, Inflation Reduction Act of last year. What? You can't do that. Like, if you want to pass a bill, pass a bill. You can't hold hostage the United States economy to pass a bill that you can't pass otherwise. That's hostage taking. That's undemocratic, dudes. But that's what they've been telling us this whole time. This whole time, Republicans have been telling us that they're not on board with democracy. Everything about them tells us they're not on board with democracy. Everything. So, okay, real quick. This is from January 6th. You can see people at the Peace Circle are generally chill until the Proud Boys show up. Everyone's chill until the Proud Boys show up. There's the Proud Boys. Everyone's chill, and then the Proud Boys show up. The speech is still going on, you know. Donald Trump is still talking, but now the Proud Boys are here. They don't wear their colors because they were told don't wear your colors, but they're organized and they're there together. And they have a megaphone. They're leading all these people to the barriers. They're at the Peace Circle. Everyone's chill. Proud Boys show up and lead people a march to that. These are all Proud Boys. That's the leader of the Proud Boys, Joe Biggs. That's the leader of the Proud Boys. Now he's leading them, right? He's leading people. He led them to the barriers. It was chill until these guys with megaphones showed up and start riling everyone up. There's the leader of the Proud Boys.
Hey, everybody right now, all I want to know is where's Antifa? Where's Antifa? Where's Antifa? Where's Antifa? Where's Antifa? Where's Antifa?
Do you see, like, these are, they literally rile up the crowd. They painted Antifa as a boogeyman. And they make Antifa as a boogeyman to rile up all these guys. And everything was chill, everyone was cool until the Proud Boys show up with megaphones and a bunch of other people. They left already the rally. I don't think they even went to the speech. The speech is still going on, right? But they show up and they start going to megaphones and start riling up people. Like they're just riling people up. What does Antifa have to do with any of this? So he riled up the people. They show up. It's pretty chill until he shows up and riles up the people with his megaphone against the boogeyman that's not even there.
Antifa! Fuck 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 Antifa! We love Trump! 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 We love.
So that Joey Biggs, he's on trial for seditious conspiracy. Treason. This guy's on trial for treason for trying to overthrow the government. This is him, leader of the Proud Boys, whose purpose is to stop the certification of the election and the transfer of power. Remember, his buddies are already inside. Josh Hawley, they're already going to delay the counting of the votes by stopping the certification, by contesting it. He is the other prong of the coup, the other side of the coup. He's providing the pressure outside. They were all chill at Peace Circle until the Proud Boys showed up with megaphones. They riled up the people, brought them to the barricades, and then got the people to knock over the barricades.
We love Trump! 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 We love Trump!
That's a Proud Boy they're embracing, because the Proud Boys are all together, right? They're all together. The Proud Boys are all together, working the crowd together in order to get them to attack the barriers.
Who's capital? Who's capital?
So this whole scene, remember, this whole scene here was real chill. Absolutely quiet, people just milling about, being chill, until the Proud Boys show up with a whole bunch of people who are chanting, "Fuck Antifa, whose capital, our capital. We love Trump."
Capital, our capital.
Everything was chill until they showed up. Now they're opposed against the barriers. Look where it's directed. It's directed at the barriers now. Before it was milling around. Now it's directed at the barriers.
Hey, let me get a little closer to Joe. Right here.
1776, dude. That's revolution. They want to overthrow the government. That's something the Proud Boys say. Listen to how many people respond. Did you hear that? Proud Boys are all peppered throughout this crowd. This whole thing is a setup. Joe Biggs brought the crowd there, riled them up, directed them at the barricades. And he's calling out to his fellow Proud Boys who are doing the same thing. Look how the crowd swelled after he showed up.
Can you see the
after he marched.
There's about 4 cops that were moving.
There you go.
6 o'clock, Joe. 1776. You fucking pigs, do your job.
There it goes. So that's the breach of the first barrier. So you can see through that whole video, Peace Circle, that area they were in, everyone was chill and calm until Joe Biggs and the Proud Boys show up with megaphones. They rile up the people and direct them at the barricades until the barricades start falling. Donald Trump's speech is still going on. It wasn't that the people came from Donald Trump's speech and did that. Joe Biggs and the Proud Boys showed up ahead of time and did that shit ahead of time before Donald Trump's speech was over. Donald Trump's speech just added to it after it ended. They were already knocking down barriers before Donald Trump's speech ended. All right. So count the wins. We won 2020 elections. We stopped the red wave from happening in 22 elections. Matt Walsh demonetized, InfoWars crushed, Tucker Carlson gone, DeSantis imploding, and Fox News in complete chaos. So it's not as if we're losing. We're not necessarily losing, you know. What else do I got to show?
We didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
They came
you
down.
just look down if you was up top. If
Yeah, I
you
was
just
up
look
there
down
for a
and
while,
you see
but
the numbers,
I was up there. I came outside. I was up on the West Terrace as he was, right after he was still giving his speech, and I just had to leave because he was basically just telling people to come down here and rip this place down. Dude, they came down Pennsylvania Avenue. It didn't even take them 30 seconds to go over 3-bike fence and just be. The officer said couldn't do nothing down here. There's not enough people. They just got trampled.
They're coming. They have one of our officers in the fucking crowd. They do? Yes! All right, they're coming. Capitol's coming with them. How far out? How far out? Is that him? I can't hear you. What you got? They just pulled.
Tear gas sucks. It was just a normal protest.
It says it can have, any person can have 8 plants at home. Now, I've seen some of the videos of DEA raids. Some of these plants are 8 and 10 feet tall.
Nice.
You can have 8 of them. You can have a privacy fence made of these products in your backyard.
No way. It gets stolen.
2 ounces. Just 2 ounces is equivalent to 3 joints.
What? What? That weed must be made out of dark matter. It's the densest weed ever. 3 ounces, 3 joints made of 3 joints out of 2 ounces of weed. Yeah, super dense weed. It's like dark matter of weed. Okay. Yeah. What, yesterday? Texas horror. Family asks neighbor to stop shooting guns in his yard because baby was asleep. Cops say he went over and killed 5 of them, including an 8-year-old. 2 children found alive under the bodies of women shielding them. White supremacy. Ta-da! White supremacy, right? This is what white supremacists want. Texas is going to pass a law defending gun manufacturers now. Because white supremacists don't fucking care, dude. They don't care. They don't care. They're white supremacists. Remember that guy I talked to? Nicest guy in the world. Bought me a beer. Nice to my face, at least. But he wants the country to collapse. and he hates women. So, like... And I'm sure he hates other trans people too. He just didn't make it apparent to me because I appear like one of him. I think that's what it was, is I appeared like one of them. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I appear. It happens a lot. Yeah, and then liberal people, not liberal, but like, yeah, lefty people don't trust me. Let's see what else. School shooting, thoughts and prayers, party fascism, free stuff, Musk hates free speech. Gorsuch, corrupt. Scotty Campbell, I already talked about him. Josh Hawley, how he's going to overthrow the government. Debt ceiling demand list. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Feinstein, yeah, I don't want him. Okay, I think that's good. I'm tired. I don't know what else to do, right? I walk outside, even if I do this show, and I give you information. Even if I gave this guy information, and he still sided with the fascists. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Anyways. I don't know what to do. But he invited me to karaoke afterwards. It was funny. He did invite me to karaoke. That's why this is so funny. Last night I had this. Yeah. The devil made me do it. Yeah. He invited me, but I didn't do it. Ah! Okay. That's enough from me. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you vote. Make sure you register. Salem is having a vote on school district. People for the school board. Don't vote for fascists. Make sure you study to make sure you don't vote for fascists. And you can't rely on skin color. Chandra Giri is a fascist. Don't vote for him. Okay. Pogo Kiddo out. Stop. Peace. Stop.